Hi everyone, so welcome to our online class. So we're going to start off on the all four position with the Pilates today. Hands in each position, knees about hip width apart, hands shoulder apart. I'm just going to work a little bit of mobility just to open up the spine. So we're working up the cat camel. We're going to work in mobility of that upper and lower back here. So get a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to tuck your head and hips under and push your shoulder blades towards the sky. We're looking for that stretch around that upper back shoulder press area. Hold it here for a few seconds. Taking a breath in, and through that next exhale, we're going to push that lower back down towards the ground, towards the mat. Head and chest then will rise, and you'll find that stretch in the lower back just above the hips. So we're just trying to open the lower back here up with this one. Taking that breath in, and through that next exhale, we're going to go back into that upper spine release as we tuck the head and hips in, shoulder blades towards the sky, finding that stretch again in that upper area. Holding through that inhale phase, exhale, lower back down towards the mat, head and chest will rise. Again, finding that stretch in that lower back area. And then one last time as we exhale, we'll work that upper back, head and hips tucked under, shoulder blades towards the sky. Through that next exhale, we're going to go back into that lower back as we bring the head and chest up. Lower back towards the ground, holding that stretch. And then from here, we're going to bring the spine back into the middle, into the neutral position. We're going to just sit back into your hips here into your child's pose. Just try to release that lower back hip area a little bit. Hands long, just allow the shoulders to release for a second or two as well. And takes the pressure off the shoulder and wrist joints from that all four position here as well. So from here, we're going to return to all four positions. We're going to work a little bit into that upper back shoulder release area. We're going to work into our thread the needle sequence here. So we're going to start off with the left arm here. As we take a breath in, we scoop that arm underneath, arm pointed away. And then we're going to exhale, trying to reach up towards the sky, just open up that shoulder chest area. So arm comes under as we take that breath in. As we exhale, trying to release that arm up towards the sky. Do two more here on the side, arm coming under. As we breath in, exhale away towards the sky. And arm coming under again one last time. And as we exhale, we go towards the sky. Good. As we come down, the hands are going to rest into that reset position. We're going to work through the right side here now. Through that inhale again, we're going to go bring arm underneath. Exhale, open up away. Breath in as we come back under. Exhale, open up away. So again, just trying to reach up towards your own range of motion here. Is try and release that shoulder chest area on that right side. Arm is under and then reaches up towards the sky. We'll do one more here. Taking that breath as we come under and away towards the sky. As we come back into that all four position, we can just sit back into your child pose again for a wee recovery, taking the pressure again off the wrist, shoulder joints, hip joints as well as the knees. And then we'll return to that all four position again. So we're going to a little bit into your core and back muscles now with a little bit of opposite arm, opposite leg sequence here. We're just going to do one side at a time just to activate the muscles. And we can keep the leg close to the mat here to make this a little bit easier for ourselves. So working through the breath here, we're going to take a breath in. Through the exhale, we'll try and push the right foot off the mat behind. And at the same time, we'll try and lift that left hand up and away. And as we breathe in again, we're going to bring it back into that center position. Through that next exhale, we're trying to work that left leg back, right hand away. And breath in, coming back. So we're doing one sequence at a time here. Through the next breath, we're going to go back over to the right side and left arm, and then coming back in. So we're just taking our time to reach away, giving the body a chance to react to the movement to help keep the balance. So we're trying to maintain stillness in the center here as we move the limbs away. It's really good exercise to work through the core as well as the back and a bit of the shoulders as well. Making our time as we work away, control back in. So we do one more each side here, just working that left leg back, right hand extended away, coming back in, and then that left arm, right leg through that last sequence, coming back in. As we come back in, we're just going to recover, sitting back into the hips again. So we're going to take the pressure off the shoulders, wrist joint area. Hands can roll out here if the wrist feels tight or anything. So let them recover and reset. So we're going to come back into that now. We're going to try and isolate the right leg and left arm for 2 flowing sequences, make it a little bit harder. Anytime you need that recovery, you can sit back in and come back in when you feel ready. So as we return, knees hip width apart, hands shoulder apart, taking that breath in. Through the exhale, working that right leg back with that left hand rises. And as we breathe in, we're going to bring the hand leg back on the mat. Through that exhale, we're working it away, so we're staying on this side and back. If this feels comfortable, you're going to make it a little bit harder. As we extend out again, instead of bringing the hand leg on the mat, we can keep the limbs off the mat and just go hand knee touch in the center and work away. So make it a little bit harder for the muscles now as that arm and leg stand off the sequence. But if this feels a little bit too much, we can keep the hand and leg returning to the mat and we lift the mat from that position there if that's more comfortable, or away. As you extend the arm and leg out one last time, we're going to keep the length here. We're going to bring our fingers and toes on the mat here in that longer phase. Taking a breath into the bottom, and through the exhale, we're going to hover the hand and leg up and then back down. We're going to rise and recover. So keeping the length in the limbs here is making it a little bit trickier for the muscles. So the limbs are longer, add a little bit more weight. And again, eyes closed will make this one a little bit trickier for balance and core if you want. But eyes open, picking a spot on the mat and staring at that will help the balance if we need. We'll do 2 more here as we lift and recover. Lift and recover. As we come back in, we're just going to come back into recover again. So taking the pressure off that right wrist joint area that took the brunt of the weight of the upper body. Rolling with that hand just to recover the wrist if you need little circles with that hand if it feels tight or fatigued or anything. Just take the pressure off the shoulders as well in this recovery position. We're just sitting back to a comfortable position for you. So if we're ready, we'll try the other side here now just to even the body out. We're going to reset ourselves in that all 4 position. Knees hip width apart, hand shoulder width apart again. We'll try and isolate the right arm and left leg for this next sequence here now. So again, we're taking that breath in. When we're ready through that exhale, we're going to go arm and leg away. Breath in, we're going to come back in. Exhale, working away, inhale back in. So again, making this side a little bit harder. If you wish, you can keep the limbs off the mat, and as we come in, we can bring hand knee together to touch and work away. Keep that leg under the hips just to help keep the hips nice and stable. Hand just working lower or in line with the shoulder, if that's okay. In and away through the breath if we can. Again, we're taking our time through the movement here to help keep everything stable in the center as best we can, working that core. Do 1 more here through this off position. As you extend out, we're going to bring our fingers and toes on the mat here. Reset at the bottom, taking that breath in. And when we're ready, we'll try and keep the length of the limbs as we lift and float back down. So again, keeping the length on that side if it feels okay. We can bring the limbs closer to the body if it feels a little bit too much. But our focus is moving the arm from the shoulder, leg from that hip joint, so you go up and down. Do 2 more here as you rise and recover, just to finish off this sequence. Last time coming up. And as you come back in to reset, we recover one last time, taking the pressure now off that left side. And again, we can roll out that wrist joint area if it's fatigued or anything. Recovered in that seated position at a comfortable position for you, releasing the shoulders and releasing the wrist joints. Well done. Good. So for here, we'll change our position now slightly on the mat. We're going to work a little bit into that core a little bit more. So we're going to work ourselves running into our seated position on the mat. So with our seated position, we're working a little bit into a roll back. So our legs are going to be nice and lengthened for this one here. So the legs are at that helping position for the counterbalance. We can have legs slightly bent or knees open, whatever you find comfortable here. Our focus is just trying to get our lower back towards the mat in this next sequence here as you roll back and roll up. So in that long position with the legs, arms are going to be nice and lengthened as well. We're going to take a breath in, and through that exhale, we're trying to focus on bringing that lower back towards the mat. So we're trying to create a curve through the spine, which brings the ribcage hip bones closer together, and then we're trying to brace the core to get ourselves back up again. Reset at the top, taking that breath. If we need to take a moment or 2 at the top, a little bit longer, before we work ourselves back into that position and brace the core. So the further we go back, the trickier it can be for the core to get ourselves back up. We just go back as far as you can comfortably with these sequences. Reset ourselves at the top, controlling that descent as best we can, so we're working that core all the way down as well, rising through. Do 2 more here in the sequence if we can. Coming back as controlled as we can, rising back up. Last time here, reset, coming back. And then as you come back up, you can recover for a second or two, just relax from those shoulders if they feel tight or anything. Reset the body. So we're going to try and hold the bottom a little bit longer for the next one, work a little bit through arm movements, put a little more pressure through the core and try and build endurance through that core for this next sequence if it feels okay. If these feel a little bit too much though, we can bring it up a little bit easier. There's different options here. So what we're going to do is we reset ourselves back at that starting position, taking that breath in, controlling that descent. But we're going to pause about halfway. We're going to try and rise the hands towards the sky, controlled, and back in. So we're going to do this for 3 times here if we can, holding the core connection for 3 arm rises. But if the 3 feels too much, we just do 1 at a time. After the 3 here, we just come back up to reset the core. So again, we're going to try this again. But if 1s feel enough for you, we just stay with 1s. We're going to control that descent again when we're ready. Pause. Hold this position as the hands reach up towards the sky. And then comes back down. Hold in that position. And recover. We'll do 1 more here. As we come back up, we'll reset ourselves well done. Taking that breath, we're going to do 1 more of these through the 3 just to finish off this sequence. Reset ourselves when you're ready, taking that breath in, through that exhale, we're coming down into the control position, holding, so reach up for 3. Again, 3 feels a little bit too much, we can hold for less, 2 or 1. So our last one through the sequence. And as we come down, come back up into recovery. And relax again, we're going to roll out the shoulders here if they feel tight or anything at the top. Well done. Good. So we're going to bring ourselves to our mat here now. We stay a little bit more with our core. So we're going to roll into our lying down position here in that supine position. I'm just going to activate a little bit of our core muscles again with this little roll up sequence. So this one's going to be a flowing sequence. We'll start off with the feet on the mat, hands on the thighs. We'll take a nice deep breath in. Through the exhale, we're going to focus on that upper body, lifting that head up, rising up to feel that core connect, release and recover, coming back down. Breath in at the bottom, taking a extra moment if you need to recover before you rise through that next exhale into that connection point, release and recover, coming back down. So we're just trying to work that head up, chin towards the chest, rising through the shoulder blades off the mat if we can, releasing them gently back on the mat, head back down. So you're trying to work the head and shoulder blades up off the mat, nice and controlled, and gently bring them back down on the mat, nice and controlled as well. So working the core through the rise and controlling our bodies down with the core as the head and shoulders come back on the mat. So lift into it, release and recover. Good, so our next one here, we're going to add to it. Our next rise, I want you to pause at the top, you feel that core connect. And in the front here, we're going to try and lift the hands away towards the sky, bringing the hands back down and release and recover again. Just add the hand release to this one now. So you roll back up, feel and hold that core connection. As the hands release over towards the head, we're keeping that core connection, coming back down and then back down. So we're trying to hold an isometric hold with the core at the top for a little bit of time here as we release the hands away and back in and back down. As best we can as we lift, trying to rise the head up, shoulder blades off the mat if we can, trying to maintain this as we reach the hands towards the sky. Go a little bit further if it feels okay. We're always trying to maintain core connection, releasing the body back down. Again, you can pause for an extra few seconds here if you wish. If the hands as well going away from the knees feels a little bit too much, we can keep those hands on the knees and just stay with those roll backs and roll ups. Only if that feels enough for you, we just slide up and release. But if we can, we're trying to hold and maintain that core connection at the top as we release the hands away towards the sky or towards the roof, back in and back down. We'll do 2 more here through this sequence. We rise in, hold, that connection point, releasing hands back on the knees, recover the head and shoulders back on, breath in, exhale, rising through, hold at the top, releasing the hands away, maintain that core connection, back in, coming back down. Head, shoulders can relax at the bottom here, neck muscles can recover for a few seconds here. So next one, we're just going to try and add to this hand release sacral. We're going to try and bring our single leg limbs into legs now, if that feels okay. So hands are resetting on the thighs. We take that breath in, we're working ourselves up into that core connection point. Hold. As the hands release from over the head now, we're going to push the right leg out with it. Hands are going to come back down, foot comes back on the mat. Hold in that position if we can, release the hands over the head again. We're going to work the left leg out now. As the hands come back on, the foot comes back down. I'm going to relax the core back down. Reset ourselves at the bottom, taking that breath in, sliding up, feeling that core to connect. Hands are going to release towards the sky as you push that right leg out. Hands are going to come back on the knee as the foot comes back on the mat. Holding that position as we work that left leg out if we can. Hands towards the sky. As the hands and legs come back in, we slide back into that recovery. Breath in as you roll up inside connection point. Hold. We're going to push the hands away. Foot goes away. Hands and leg comes back in. Holding one last time as we extend that leg out on the left side with the hands. And as they all meet each other again, we're going to come back down and release. At the bottom, we can relax the hands by the side, release the legs out into that recovery. Well done. So from here, we're going to work a little bit of the hamstring activations now, and then move a little bit into your hips. So we're going to work a little bit into that single leg movement as you release the hamstrings. So we're focusing on the right leg here, taking a breath in. Through the exhale, I want you to keep the legs straight as you can, working up towards the sky. Just to feel that stretch point in the back, then the back of the thigh joint, and then let it float back down to recover. Breath in again. Through that exhale, we're going to go again with that right leg, lifting up towards the sky, slowly back down to recover. So we're just trying to release the hamstrings here on that side with a little bit of movements. As your leg goes up in that lengthened position, we're stretching the hamstrings out. We're just going up to your own stretch point here wherever you feel comfortable before we let it float back down to release. Do two more on this side. So rise to that right leg up into that connection point. Release and recover, coming back down. Rise for that connection point. Release and recover, coming back down. So as the right leg comes back down here, we're going to let that relax. We're going to switch over to the left. Breath in through that left side. We'll lift into that connection point and release. So again, we're just going to keep the length in the leg as best we can, just trying to find the stretch on that side before we release and recover, coming back down. Into that lengthened position. Release and recover, coming back down. Do two more on this side if we can. Into that connection point at the top. And release and recover. Last one here, as that leg rises into that stretch, floats back down, and let that release and relax on the mat. With those hips and leg muscles recover. Well done. So we work a little bit into our side glutes now here for the next phase. We're going to turn our bodies to our side lying position. So we're just going to turn ourselves to the side for this one here. So as we lie on the side, we're just trying to work through our setup first. So with that upper body, so whatever you feel comfortable here, hand can rest, the head can rest under the arm, that high position, or we can keep it nice and long and spread. Keep your head nice and relaxed on your shoulder here. You can bring a pillow in here if this is more comfortable as well. Sometimes keeping the head low is a little bit easier for your neck and spine. So if this feels more comfortable, you can hold there, or we can go up high if you want. With the legs, we're just going to sit off. The two legs are going to be nice and straight on top of each other, knees, hips and ankles. We're going to roll those hips forward, so we're help isolate the area we want. And we're going to bend that lower leg back for this sequence here just to help and support those hips. Our focus is going to be on the leg on the top here. We'll work through 3 flowing moves on that leg at the top here. With this next sequence to try and strengthen those side hip muscles. But anytime we need to rest, we just rest and come back in. So we just start off with the leg lift. We'll take a breath in, and through the exhale, I want you to try and control the leg up. Just about this point here, and then float back down, nice and controlled. So through that breath out, we'll try and sweep the leg up and sweep the leg down. So this one can be taken one at a time. You can bring the leg all the way down on the mat and relax for a few seconds before we lift it again, or we can keep that sequence going up and down, keep the tension on the muscles. It's whatever you feel comfortable here as you try and work and strengthen our side glute muscles and side hip muscles. As we lift that leg up, or should be feeling this one, the side of those glutes, and then back down. Just making sure those hips are rolled forward nice and stacked properly, so we're getting into the right position as we lift the leg up and back down. Controlled as we can. So as you come down, we're going to pause the leg with the halfway point or just before it comes down to our leg. This time now, as you take a breath in, I want you to bring your knee in towards the body a little bit. And through the exhale, we're going to try and extend the leg back out that starting position again. So the knee's just going to come in, and then we're going to push that leg up. So what imagine our leg is on an invisible table, and as the knee slides in, we're just trying to keep it on that table, and then push it out. The reason why I'm trying to keep it on a table is we're going to try to maintain the same distance from the mat with the knee as it goes in and out. Try to maintain that lying position if we can. The knee just comes in, do whatever range you feel comfortable before you extend it away again. Breathe it in, coming in, exhale away. Do 2 more on this side if we can, as that breath comes in, exhale away. Last time here as you come in and away. As we pause a full extension here, last one here, now we're doing a little up and down pulses now through that leg from that hip joint. We're trying to work up and down movements, little pulses if we can, just trying to work through that side hip area as best we can. So we're trying to finish off this side. The pulse is going to put a little more pressure through those muscles. You're trying to work that side one last time. Last 3, 2 and 1. You can come down to rest, resting that knee on the mat. We can just tap out that side of the muscle. If they feel tight or anything, just take a bit of the pressure off. We'll like rub or like tap if it feels tight or anything like that, or fatigued. Well done. So we're going to try our other side here now, just to even the body out if that feels okay. We're going to just going to switch yourself to our other side of the mat. And again, I'm just going to start off with our setup. So again, whenever you feel comfortable on the side with the head, hand under or supporting nice and long on the shoulder. Our legs will start off nice and lengthened again. Knees, ankles, hips nice and stacked. Rolling those hips forward. Just making sure those are nice and squared at the top. And then we'll bend that leg on the bottom back to about 90 degrees just to help support the hips a little bit as well. We'll start off, just work our side leg lift again, taking that breath in. Through the exhale, just lift and recover. So again, keeping the leg nice and long for this one. Working up, working down, and again, just rising up to about here, keeping tension on the muscle, and then back down. You do these one at a time. You can rest the leg for a few seconds at the bottom if we need, just to switch off and recover, and then come back in as needed, or we can keep the sequence going if it feels okay. I'm trying, again, making sure those hips are nice and rolled forward, keeping the tension on the muscle area you want, the side of those glutes and the side of the hips. Lift in and recover. Good. As we come down, but halfway point again with a pause. We'll work our in and out phase now, so that breath in, the knee's going to come in towards the body. As we exhale, we'll try and push that leg back into that lengthened position. Knee coming in and away. So again, we'll imagine that leg on that table. Just slide that knee in as we breathe in, exhale away. And again, we can take these one at a time. You just recover a full extension, come back up when you're ready, in towards the body and away, if that's more comfortable for you. Breath in, coming in, exhale away. Just trying to maintain that line, that distance from the mat with the knee in and out as best we can. Doing one more on this side as we come in and away. A full extension here again, we'll pause. We'll try to work through those pulses, phase up and down. Little fast pulses now just to finish off this side of the hip area. Just try and maintain that constant pressure as best we can. Up and down for the last few seconds on this side. Last 3, 2 and 1 as we come back in, let that leg relax, and again we just little taps on the side of the glutes there, just take some pressure off if it feels tight or anything. So we're going to stretch out those side hip muscles now and those glutes out. So we're going to change our position on the mat here now. We're going to go back into your supine position. So we're going to bring our back on the mat here. And we're going to just relax our upper body, and our feet are going to come on the mat here. So we're just working the side of the glutes now. So we take our left foot across the right knee area here for this one. And once we're there, what we're not trying to do is relax that knee out the way. And as you relax that knee out, you should feel that stretch on the side of the hip. So you're just looking for that stretch area there. And if you feel it, we'll hold there. If you need to deepen this, you can take the hand on the knee and put and get a little bit further until you feel that stretch. But this one here, you're just looking for a stretch, that's all, no pressure or pain. So if that feels okay, just nice and relaxed where you are, hold there, only push the knee out if it feels that you don't feel any stretch. Good, so release and relax that. We're going to work the other side here now, so bringing that opposite leg across, and again we're just going to just let it relax out. If it feels okay, hold there, or we can push the knee out a little bit more on that side if you need. But if it feels nice and stretched out, just relax. We can just stay on that position. We don't need to push the knee out if it feels too much. You're just looking for a stretch here on these, that's all, for a few seconds. Good, gently release and relax our foot back down. And our two legs will lengthen out on the mat just to release the front of the hips here. So we're going to move ourselves back into our core now in the next segment here. I'm going to try and flow through these muscle exercises in two phases for our first bit. We'll just start off with single leg movements here. So we're going to start off with the left leg. We're going to bring our right foot on the mat here in the supporting position, and the left leg is going to be the focus. We're going to work on this single leg lift here, just trying to bring the leg up and down, and we're trying to focus on maintaining core connection through the lift and the recovery. So if you want here with the hands, we're going to take my fingers on my sides. I'm going to take a breath in. Through my gentle exhale, I'm going to try and push my fingers into my sides. I'm going to push the sides against my fingers, and that's going to switch on my core, so I'll feel my core connect there. And then with that, we're going to work on this single leg lift up and down. So gently pushing my fingers in, pushing the sides against my fingers just to hold and maintain that core connection. You can also try and bring your ribcage and hip bones closer together, or I might just always gently tap you in the stomach, trying to hold that brace gently as we lift the leg up and down. We then work through a leg lift here. We can recover and just do these one at a time, recover for a few seconds after each one if you wish, to give the muscles a recovery, or if it feels okay, we'll try and keep the sequence going up and down. Good, so as the leg comes down, when you pause here just before it touches the mat, as you breathe in, I want you to bring your knee in towards the chest, and through the exhale, you're going to try and push the leg out over the mat. Bring it in towards the chest as we breathe in, exhale out over the mat, trying to keep it off the mat though. This can be made a little bit harder if you want through this sequence by lifting the head up off the mat, chin towards the chest, wading a little bit more deeper into the core, make it a little bit harder if you wish, but head can stay on the ground if that feels enough for you. Trying to work it in and away. Trying to maintain that core connection still, gently pushing my fingers into my sides against my fingers, trying to hold that squeeze gently as the knee comes in towards the body. The leg is pushing over the mat away. Good. As the leg comes back in, I'm going to rest that right leg on the mat here. Relax the head back down if you wish. And that right leg, now is going to extend out. We're trying to work that right side now through those two same sequences. So reset the body, take a breath in, through the exhale, trying to squeeze the core. You're going to rise that leg up in that lengthened position and back down. So again, my fingers still gently pushing to my sides against my fingers to maintain the core connection, or ribcage hip bones coming a little bit closer together, try and maintain that core. Head again can roll up off the mat in this position to make it a little bit trickier. Through that rise and recovery if you wish, or the head can stay on the mat if that feels enough for you. And again, you take these one at a time, resting the leg as needed and coming back in when you feel ready, if this sequence feels a little bit too much through the core and the hips. So as the leg comes down, we'll pause here, taking that breath in, we'll bring the knee in towards the body, exhale away. Again, we're trying to hover over the mat with that leg, pulling out that full extension if we can, bringing that knee in, extend it away. Again, head can stay up, head can stay down. If that's more comfortable, I'm still trying to maintain the gentle squeeze of the core by pushing my fingers into the sides against my fingers, holding this position as best I can. Do a few more here on this side to finish off this sequence. And as we bring that right knee back in, I'm going to rest the body back down, head back down, recover for a few seconds at the bottom here, well done. So next we're going to try and work the two legs together. We're trying to work into our double leg lower, and this one here, difficulty can increase by the more extension of the limbs. So our legs are going to come off the mat together, roughly about 90 degrees or just beyond that if we can give this one a go. We're going to imagine our legs are frozen together and our movement is going to come from the hips. I'm going to take a breath in and try to squeeze my core here first at the top, gently pushing my fingers into the sides against the fingers. Once I feel the core engaged, I'm going to slowly drop my legs down towards the mat as best I can, utilising the core and the hips. At the bottom here now, once I reach the mat, I'm going to relax everything, recover, and reset, and we walk back up to the start. So our focus is trying to keep the core engaged through the lowering phase of the legs towards the mats here. So we're trying to reset, bracing the core, controlling that descent as best we can all the way down, releasing the core, releasing the body at the bottom for a few seconds, and then rebuild when you feel ready. So for this one here, the straighter the legs go, the trickier it's going to be on that lowering phase for the core. Full extension is going to be a little bit tricky rather than that bent phase. And again, the more we have the legs bent in at 90 degrees, it should be a little bit easier again. Our movement's always coming from the hips, trying to control that descent as best we can. So again, we're just trying to find a comfortable difficulty for you. Your focus is always trying to maintain that core connection through the drop, through the lowering phase of the legs. At the bottom, you allow yourselves to release the core, releasing the hips. So we'll cover for a few seconds before we rebuild and go again. If the legs are fully extended, you can lift the head up off the mat again to make this one a little bit trickier on the core if you wish. Try to control that descent as best we can. Covering at the bottom, we'll do one more here. Resetting ourselves at the top, bracing that core, trying to control that descent. At the bottom, allow yourself to release and recover, allow those hips to release and recover, core muscles to release and recover, well done. So next core again, we'll stand with our legs. We're going to try and bring our arms into this one. We're going to try and do our double leg stretch. So our starting position this time is we're going to bring the legs off the mat at 90 degrees and our hands are going to hold the knees here. So the focus is trying to maintain core connection as we lengthen the legs out and arms out if we can. I'm going to take a breath in. I'm trying to squeeze my core muscles, so I'm trying to bring my ribcage closer together here so they feel them tighten up. And I'm trying to hold that as I extend my legs out over the mat and hands over the head. And then I scoop them back in as I breathe in to recover. Pausing here, reset myself again, squeezing everything nice and tight before I release the hands and legs out. So the further the legs go out, arms out, the trigger is going to be on the core. We're trying to maintain that core connection through that outward phase as they come back in. So allow yourself to recover, reset, squeeze the core again, try and maintain that through that extended phase, coming back in to release and recover. Reset the body every time, squeezing the core to begin this one, try and maintain that squeeze through that extended phase, scoot back into recover. This can be a little bit trickier again by lifting the head up off the mat, holding that head up, chin towards the chest, so you extend out everything. Again, as we come back in, we can pause and recover for a few seconds before we go again. Just doing one more here, squeezing that core, releasing away, coming back. So come back in, the feet to return to the mat, head, shoulders down, lengthen out the legs here if you want to release those hips for a few seconds, release it and recover the core muscles, well done. So we're doing one more on the core just to finish off this sequence here. We're trying a little bit into our 100s here, so not as long, we're trying to just hold this one as long as we can. And there's different levels to this to make it a little bit easier or harder on the body. So we start off with the feet on the mat here. We're just trying to maintain this one and then we'll increase the intensity if it feels okay. My hands are coming by the sides on the mat. My focus is that upper body. I'm going to take a breath in. Through the exhale, I'm going to lift my head and chest up off the mat, shoulder blades low if I can. Looking for that roll up position that we did with the hands on the legs before, but the only difference is now the hands are coming by the sides. Feeling that core is tighten. And then once I'm here, I'm going to do little fast pulses with the arms and the shoulders just to work a little bit deeper into the core. So we're working through fast pulses as we can and trying to hold to maintain this position as we try and take small steps there in and out. If this feels okay, you want to make this feels a little bit trickier, we can bring the legs up 90 degrees as we work through the pulses here, up and down. Try and maintain that squeeze through the core as we work through the pulses. We can recover and pause at this anytime you need and come back in. If this holding sequence is a little bit too much, to see how your core is. We're trying to maintain this for a little bit more. Pushing the legs out over the mat. It's going to be a little bit trickier again on the core if you wish. We're trying to maintain the pulses for the last few seconds here. Try and keep that core connected, trying to hold that squeeze gently as we take small steps there in and out. Good, that's 3, 2, and 1. Releasing, coming back down, releasing the body, releasing the limbs out, recovering the core, recovering the hips, well done. Well done, well done. So we're going to move ourselves into our stretch recovery phase here now. We're trying to release and stretch the body out. We worked a little bit through our mobility segments as well, just to help improve and increase our range of motion of some of the muscles. We start off with our right leg in this sequence here. We'll work through this for a little bit and then we'll mirror that on the left side. So we're bringing the right leg up about 90 degrees. I want you to hold the leg for support. As we work a little bit into our hamstring mobility segment again. Taking a breath in, and through the exhale, the lower part of the leg is going to lengthen out. You stretch the leg into a straighter position. You feel your hamstring stretch and then back out to release. So as the leg rises, you'll find the stretch either the back of the thigh or back of the knee joint, in around that hamstring area. You're just looking for your own stretch point here, no pain, and then back down to release. We're trying to work through lengthening the hamstring as we lengthen the leg out, and then bring it back into that release position. We'll get into the stretch and release. We'll do 2 more on this side here as we work into that stretch and release. As we bring the leg down, we're going to pause about 90 degrees here. We're going to work into a little bit into the ankle joint, ankle mobility. So we're trying circles now with your foot to help release the ankle joint. Circles with the foot. If the circles feel a little bit too much, we just do little side-to-side motions if that feels okay, or up and down motions. We're trying to isolate the ankle joint here, so we're trying to bring the movement from the foot if you can, trying to avoid moving the leg, trying just to work through the foot to isolate the ankle. So we're going to do our circles, or up and downs, or side to sides, whatever we can do. So from here, after that, we're going to pause our circles. We're going to hug the knee in towards the chest a little bit here. Now we're trying to stretch that upper hamstring area. So as the knee comes in, we're lengthening this part of the hamstring out, a little bit into the lower back glute area as well. But just come in until you feel a stretch. That's all we need, no further. Not trying to force anything here. Good, gently release and relaxing that leg back out. We're going to let that relax back on the mat and allow that side to release and recover. Well done. So we're going to try our left side now through those movements. So we're bringing that left leg up around 90 degrees, holding that leg for support. We're going to work into the hamstrings on that side first. Taking that breath in, through that exhale, we'll lengthen the leg into the stretch and then back out to release. So you might find one side is tighter than the other. You're just trying to work into your own stretch position and then back out. We're trying to work into those hamstrings here as we lengthen and release. As the leg reaches out, you're working into the stretch point only, no pain or discomfort. And then back in, we'll do a few more on this side, just to release those hamstrings. Last one here. So bring that leg down, you can pause right 90 degrees. We work into our circles now with the foot, get into that ankle joint. If the circles again feel a little bit too much on this side, if the side feels tight or anything, we can focus on up and down movements through the foot if that's okay, or side to side movements. We're just trying to isolate the foot, movements to isolate the ankle joint. A few more circles here, or up and down phases. So pause there. We're going to work that knee in towards the chest again to release that upper hamstring, lower back glute area. So just come into your stretch point only here. I'm trying to pause and hold this stretch for a few seconds on this side. And then gently let it release and relax out, allowing that side to recover. Well done. So we've got a little bit into our core stretch next here. So we're going to change our position on the mat a little bit. We're going to come around and go face down on the mat here. We're going to release our core muscles in the front. So we're lying down in what they call the prone position, or your face down position on the mat. Hands are going to be either side here in a comfortable position. And we're going to use the hands to peel the chest up off the mat. We're just trying to lengthen the core muscles out in the front here, and we're just going to your own comfortable stretch point. So at the baseline here, we're going to take a breath in. Through the exhale, just lifting that head and chest up off the mat, rising into your own stretch point here, and then release and recover, coming back down. So as we lift off the mat, we try and focus on lifting the head first, rising through the chest to release the core, just going up into wherever you feel comfortable here, and then back down. As the upper body rises, you're going to feel a bit of pressure in your lower back as you compress that lower spine. So again, we just find our own stretch point, no more. Always bring ourselves back down to your lower spine to release at the bottom for a few seconds before we rise again into that stretch. We're going to do two more here through the core, rising through into that stretch and release. Good. As you come back down, good. Just bring yourselves up into your child's pose here again. Sit back into the hips just to release that lower back, arms are long. Good, coming out of that one. We're going to stay around the back here for a little bit more. We're going to work into our lat stretch. So we're going to sit back into your child's pose again, hands long. And with the hands, we're going to take the hands across to the left hand side. So we feel a stretch under the right arm area. I'm going to hold that stretch. So as we reach across, we're trying to lengthen out the right side of your lat muscles here with this one, the side of the back. It's going to hold that stretch here for a few seconds. As you come across, we're just looking for your stretch point only, no pressure or pain, just whatever you feel comfortable that you can hold. And then we're coming back into the center. We're going to come across to the right hand side of the hands, trying to isolate and open up that left side of the lats now. So we'll go across into that stretch. And again, we're just going to hold the stretch here for a little bit, trying to release that side. Just a stretch again, no pain or discomfort. As we come back into the center, I'm just going to just sit a little bit further into the child's pose. I'm going to try and push our hands a little bit further away from the mats here, just to get both sides of the lats and release the shoulders a little bit. So hands are going to be lengthened away into that stretch. Trying to hold that stretch for a few seconds. Trying to release the shoulders. Coming back in here, we're going to come back into our all four position. So we're working a little bit into our cat camel stretch again, but we're trying to hold the stretches here this time one at a time. So we're going to focus on that upper back again. Take a breath in. Through the exhale, I want you to tuck your head and hips in again. Push your shoulders towards the sky, and we're trying to find that upper back stretch. And we're trying to hold here at the stretch point, so we're just gently pushing up. Do you feel that stretch? Holding that stretch at the top. Just trying to release the upper back a little bit more. So hold and stretch. Good. And from here, we'll just gently bring the back into your middle. And then you're going to push that lower back down towards the ground or the mat. Head and chest rise, hips rise, and we're going to find that lower back stretch here. And again, we're just going to hold the stretch point. Try to maintain that stretch for a little bit here. Just to stretch, no pain, holding gently that stretch. As we come back into the middle again. So we just sit back into our child's pose one last time, sitting back into the hips, hands lengthened. We're trying to release those shoulders, release the back one last time. Focusing on our breathing here now in this stretch, deep breaths in and out. Trying to exhale and release into the stretch. Again, we're just trying to hold the stretch point only here. So we're going to recover for the last few seconds, breathing in, breathing out, focusing on the breathing in and out. Every exhale and release and recover the body. Breath in, breath out. That's 3, 2, and 1. We're gently coming back up and out of there. Nice and gently. Roll those shoulders back a few times just to release those shoulders. Good job everyone, that's our class complete.